Welcome to episode 71 of the Prosperous Yogini Podcast. So I'm still sharing with you some snippets from my free training I did a few weeks ago now, the Confident Yogi CEO. It was so powerful and I want to just get it out there for those of you that missed the live training, are listening to this episode at a later date. So this is a snippet, a takeout from day one, which energy is everything. And for me, this is so important. If you join my mentorship program or if you work with me one-to-one, this is the first thing that we really dial down into the energy behind everything that you are doing, getting energetically aligned. Because I know what it's like. We think, I'm a bit good at this business stuff. I haven't got a marketing strategy. I don't know what to do on social media. I don't know what to say. I haven't got a website. All of this stuff, all this action that we get consumed with doing. And absolutely, we need to take action, but we need to take aligned action. Like, you know about alignment. And so often we're busy in doing stuff that we think we should do, not stuff that's aligned with us. So energy literally is everything. Get into energetic alignment. And as I say, the rest is gravy. It doesn't mean action doesn't need to happen, and it doesn't mean action isn't hard work, but it means it's action that flows and action that leads you to the results that you are calling in. Okay, my lovelies. So I'm going to leave you now with this clip, Energy is Everything, from day one of the Confident Yogi CEO. Before I disappear and leave you with that, I want to just remind you that if you would like to bring me onto your team, turn your passion into profit and create a profitable, sustainable, impactful yoga business, or perhaps you're a massage therapist, Pilates teacher, wellness entrepreneur, listen, I can help you. Okay, so have a look at the links below. You can see the links to how you can work with me one-to-one. You can see the links to my group mentorship program, the Prosperous Yogini mentorship program, and get your name on the wait list for when those doors reopen. I really mean this. You're not meant to do it alone. The reason why you're finding it hard is because you're trying to figure it out alone. I have been a yoga teacher and a yoga boss. I have been self-employed for over 14 years. I know what it's like to sell your services, to put yourself out there to sell your services. And I know I can help you. So do have a look at either my group mentorship program or how we can work together one-to-one. And in the meantime, enjoy Energy is Everything, this snippet from the Confident Yogi CEO, day one. Coming today thinking, great, Amy's going to tell me exactly what to post on Instagram. That isn't here today, because I want you to get in energetic alignment, and then that, what should I do and show up on Instagram will actually just be channeled down and flow down to you. Plus, I did a podcast episode a few episodes ago on hot tips for Instagram, if that's what you're here for today. But I just like, when we're struggling to take this on board, when we're thinking, yeah, but the reality is, Amy, look, there's so many yoga teachers and there's so many training courses, and pre-COVID my classes were full and now they're half full. I'm sorry, but the reality is, and I get that, I'm not saying that your present experience isn't justified and isn't valid, but when we're questioning this, it's really useful to get to the facts. Now, again, this is Google, and there were other figures when I Googled this, but Google says that this is current net worth of the yoga industry. And not just that, Google is projecting growth. So it could be very easy right now in the current economic climate to say, well, people can't afford yoga classes anymore. There are people who cannot afford yoga classes anymore, right? Absolutely. But Google is projecting growth. So what does that tell me when I get into the energy that, yes, economically, some people are struggling and some people may not be able to afford my classes, but some people will. And maybe there's something else that I need to offer if what I was doing pre-COVID isn't working anymore. If I've just been stuck in the energy of, wow, my classes are empty now, people don't want yoga. I'm just stuck in that pattern and stuck in that energy. So the first step of getting in energetic alignment is like, well, what are the facts? Like, okay, I put out a class, yeah, I've got a new class, nobody turned up, but I must be rubbish. I'm like, what are the facts? How many people knew about that class?
How many people did you tell about that class? Oh, I just put it on my website. Well, how many people visited that page? Not many, and even the people visiting the page probably weren't, coming. So you've got to know the facts, because the facts help to shut down the noise of the mind stuff. This is what Patanjali taught us, the chitter chatter, the stuff that is there in front of us, the veil that is stopping us from seeing what is true, and also stepping into the power of what it is we came here to do. So energy absolutely is everything. And there are many energy maps. I have mentioned the chakra system today. There are other systems. There are other ways of mapping energy. The meridian. Have you ever questioned why there are so many ways of mapping energy? Why do I have meridian lines? Why do we talk about the chakra system, the nadi system? I'm going to say the fascial system is an energy line. And I'm like, because humans, we know, as yoga teachers, we're sold into this, we know there is more than this physical form. Science can actually measure the energy of the body, can measure the electromagnetic field, can measure frequency, vibrations of muscles. So muscles, if you ever thought, if you talk about long twitch and short twitch muscles, right? What does that mean? It means your short twitch muscles has a higher vibration, right? They respond to electric, fast energy. Your long twitch muscles are a lower vibration. They respond to that lower endurance work. When we talk about yin and yang, when we talk about yin yoga, why do I need to hold these poses for so long? Oh, I'm getting into the deep tissues. I'm getting down energetically to the slower frequency muscles. Okay, energy literally is everything, and the reason why there's all these maps is because it is the unseen. So we have a feeling for it, we have a notion of it, but we are applying this to our yoga practice all the time. Are we applying it to our yoga business? So again, I'm trying to bring in the science. I'm laughing because science, maths, and English, they're not my strongest points, but quantum physics, right? Literally the principle of quantum physics is atoms of like energy attract atoms of like energy. So if I'm in the vibration of, this is something I definitely would have done. I have, my yoga class was quiet. I've gone home and I'm like, gosh, I'm rubbish. I've gone on Google and I've Googled other yoga teachers in the area, and they've all got a better website than me. I've decided, there's that fancy yoga studio up the road. And I'm like, yeah, do you know what? My classes and what I'm offering is rubbish. I'm not good enough. Like, no one's going to come to this class in this village hall with me. I know I need more training. I know nothing's going to happen until I've got £2,000 to invest in a really nice website. My website is rubbish, right? There's the energy, and think what that might attract. But it's not just that attraction. Thoughts literally become things. A thought, a belief, is literally just a thought we've continued to repeatedly think. And the belief informs our action, or more importantly, our inactions. So I've got, talk about maths, I have an equation here. So scientific. Literally, thoughts plus beliefs equal the action or non-action. So let's go back to that energy of, I've had a quiet class, I've gone home, I've gone into compare and despair. I've gone on Google, I've scrolled through Instagram, and that's probably one of the worst things you can do, because I would put money on the fact your Instagram feed, you've created that, you've followed other yoga teachers, you may have followed the ones that you think you should be like, they probably have been doing it for longer than you have. You're now directly comparing yourself to them, and you're like, well, they're great. I couldn't show up on Instagram like this. This isn't for me. And then that's it. That will result in the action of doing nothing. Whereas if I energetically come back from that quiet class and think, okay, this isn't what I want. I want this class to be full. Like, I have done my training, I've invested X amount of money, X amount of hours. I am deeply passionate about yoga. I want to help people. Okay. And I am needed. Like, yes, there's a high-end fancy studio up the road. That's really expensive. And not everyone can afford that. Not just that. Some people don't want a high-end studio, by the way. Some people are scared or put off by a high-end studio. Like, they have, like, honestly, like, this is what we're like. Like, some people like, or everyone in that studio is I'm wearing leopard print leggings. Everyone that goes to that class has got leopard print leggings and their legs look amazing in them. And I can't do that. And they come and see your class and they see you and they're like, I really like the look of that person. I energetically like the look of that person. I'm going to go to that class in my local village hall. But you have to step into the energy of I'm needed. And when you step into the energy of I'm needed, what happens? You take action. You're like, okay, so that class was quiet, but I've got 4 regular students who just come every week, who love me, and I love them. We love each other. We are energetically quantum physics. Okay, so I'm going to say to these guys, look, the class is quiet and this isn't sustainable. I absolutely love teaching it. Can you help me fill it? Can you bring a mate? Can you here are some flyers and I printed off and I give you these flyers and ask you to put them around. I go into a few local Facebook groups and I post something. There is a round by where you're teaching in the village hall. There's a couple of shops and a couple of cafes. You go into the cafes and say, hey, can I put my flyer up? Hey, I've got a yoga class on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. If I give you some of my flyers and I then recommend your cafe, and you gave them 10% off, can we work together here? Can we collaborate? Can there be some reciprocity? Now, you're only taking those actions because you're energetically in a place of, yeah, this class is needed. I don't really care about that really fancy yoga studio up the road. Yeah. But you have to step into the energy of knowing you are needed. You have to get energetically lined up. And you're like, yeah, okay. But what happens if I really believe I'm not needed, Amy? Help. I hear you. Okay. Now, I always think this is a bit like our yoga practice, right? And you purposely use the word remap. I'm a huge fan of yin yoga. I do vinyasa yoga as well. I go more, my yang stuff is more surfing these days, but I still pull out the odd sun salutation. So like yoga practice wise, I'm definitely very yin now. I'm in my mid-40s. And I talk a lot about this remapping of the nervous system in yin yoga. And when do we do the remap in yin yoga? We do it in the rebound. When I've held the shape for 3 to 5 minutes and I come out of the shape and I let my nervous system process that new information. I let my nervous system process that new energy, right? It takes time. I've got to come to my mat for there to be change. It takes time, patience, compassion, and practice from a place. One of my all-time yoga heroes, Bernie Clark, in my head, he might be my granddad, talks about paying attention. And this is where the remapping, okay, today, after this call, you are all going to go, I am remapping myself into badass yoga boss mode. This is where I am now. It might not happen tomorrow, but I'm going to put in the time and the practice. So the first thing is paying attention to your thoughts, stories, and habits. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the same example because it just makes it really easy. So the story is, I'm not needed. There's a high-end yoga studio round the corner from the village hall where I'm trying to teach this class. And the story is, everyone's going to prefer to go to that high-end yoga studio. I've paid attention to that thought, right? I have paid attention, right? And then I need to question it. Is this true? Am I going to this high-end yoga studio? Are the 4 students, my 4 diehard super fans that turn up every week, right? And if it's like, yeah, but those 4 people are my friends, like, I want you to know we are all immensely selfish. I say this with so much love. Your friends love you. Your friends will come to a couple of classes to support you, but literally, unless they like your yoga class, they won't come back every week, right? We are literally that selfish. So these die-hard people, even if it's one or two, right, they are your super fans, right? They show you that you are needed, right? And there are more of those people. You just need to attract them. So you look for the facts, the data. The other places where we can go and get facts is if we have a website, looking at how many people are visiting my website. Like, this is very common, like we do this lovely website and then nobody's visiting it. Have I taken any action to get found on Google? Have I stepped into yoga boss mode, built my website and then done a Google Business Center listing? Or social media is another one where, like, one of the questions actually I've got for Wednesdays, like, I'm posting on social media all the time. My classes are still quiet. You know, that you know, oh, what do I do? I can't think of anything else to do. Well, look at the data. Like, you know, on Instagram, as long as you have a business account, which is why you need to have a business account, which is why you need to step into yoga, badass yoga boss mode, because you're like, I'm actually a business. I'm not just a person teaching yoga. On your professional account, you can see the statistics, you can see the data, you can see how many people have interacted and engaged, how many people, how far your reach is. And if you're like, actually, this data is really low, what I'm posting isn't really resonating with people, that tells me I've got to do something different. And I bet you, if it is the fact that you're like, oh, this is really low and this isn't resonating with people, I would happily put money on the fact that the reason that is because you are doing something you think you should. You've done some training and someone's told you to post on Instagram 3 times a week, show up on video, make a reel, and you hate doing this stuff, but you're doing it, right? But the energy is, oh my God, this isn't me, and I hate doing this stuff, right? That energy's leading. When I'm like, well, you know what? Instagram is free advertising, free marketing. What would you like to do? Oh, well, I've got a really cute dog and I love walking my dog. And I do it every day. And I was like, well, why don't you just share that? And why don't you just, so then I get to know you. And like this, I'm not lying here. You can work with me and not own a dog, particularly you do not have to own a doodle breed, but my dog, Pancake, is a golden doodle and it is bizarre. And I do share her quite a bit on Instagram. And it is really bizarre how many people in my mentorship program have a poodle crossbreed. It is not essential, but it, you know, this is his energy. And then finally, we've paid attention to the story we're telling ourselves. Okay, we're going to question that with the facts, with the data, not the noise of the mind stuff, which is going to be so powerful. We know how powerful it is. And we know that our beautiful brain is just trying to keep us safe. We don't want to fail. We don't want to stand out. We don't want people not to like us, right? So we keep ourselves small, and women in particular keep themselves small. Okay, these are all long ancestral behavioral patterns that I'm asking you to break in 2023, right? But women, we need to break them. The world needs us to break them, right? Then we reframe them with thoughts, affirmations. Now, the thing with it is got to be, you're yoga teachers. We work with affirmations all the time, right? We share affirmations with our students all the time. It has got to be something positive. It's got to be something short, and it's got to be something that you can get behind. So let me go back to those 4 die-hard students that come every week. They're your super fans. They're your ideal clients. They are the people you want in your business. You only need a few more of them to actually have a yoga business, because then you just don't have to you don't have to start more classes. You've got this die-hard group of people who love everything you do. You think, well, what else could I do for them? And what else could I do for them? And then I'm just going to be in this energy when people come in, because now I'm in the energetic flow. But you focus on those 4 people and you just say, these are the people who are blessed to do yoga with me. More of these people, please. You focus on those that will be blessed to do yoga with you, not the ones that come. We've all had it where someone's maybe come along to our yoga class and You spend the whole class teaching thinking they're hating this, and you're like, this isn't the right class for them, and you kind of hope they don't come back. And sometimes they do, and actually sometimes you've misread the information, but you want energetic resonance with those you teach. You want to think, I don't want to teach that person. You want to be able to say to someone, no, this isn't for you, with total confidence, because the people that it is for are coming. And this honestly is not going to happen overnight. You really need to give yourself time, and you really need to be compassionate. Like, you understand the nervous system, and if you come up with a mantra like that stresses you out, like a positive affirmation that stresses you out, that you can't get behind, that you can't believe, it's going to stress your nervous system out. If your nervous system is stressed, the energy is not flowing. This is why we know all this stuff. So the what if, it's one of my favorite questions. And I'm like, what if I failed? What if I did this and I failed? What if I did it differently? If you've got something that is like frustration, causing resistance, like, how often do we people please? Like, I'll go back to these 4 lovely people that you've got coming to your class every week, and you no longer want to do this class because it's taking you 40 minutes to get there, the hall's a bit grotty, and the time no longer works for you, right? But you love these 4 people. So instead of like going, this isn't working for me anymore, the energy is of a mismatch. And the yoga boss mode decision is like, I'm sorry guys, like, I love you, but this class isn't right anymore. I know so many teachers that just keep going, keep people pleasing, because they don't want to upset anyone. They can't change their class times. They can't put their prices up because they don't want to upset anyone, right? But being in the yoga boss mode, right, you understand that you put your energy first, you put your needs first, and the rest just flows. And so often when you make a change, often your students come to what else, those diehard ones come to other things that you're offering. What if it worked out? What if it is possible for me? And for me, like, the what if question, when I'm struggling, when I'm thinking like, this isn't going to work, I am not going to convince yoga teachers of this. And I'm like, what if I do? And what if that means that the ones that I do convince have radical shifts in their business? Yeah? And because I stayed in that energy of what if, that is what is happening, to those that listen to my podcast, to those that come to my free training, and to those that then go on to work with me further. So what does badass yoga boss behavior look like, right? It is saying yes to something that you think, oh my God, I'm not good enough for that. Saying yes to something that makes you feel a bit like, oh, but change, if this is true, right? Change, transformation doesn't happen from a place of comfort. You know this. If I come to you, if I drop you a message and just say, look, been doing yoga for a couple of years, but I can't do a headstand, or I really want to do it, what you're going to say to me, you're going to say, yeah, come along to class, but you are going to have to work on your core. You're going to have to do the hard work. You're going to have to do the drills because you're not strong enough yet to do headstand. You have to do the hard work, and it's going to be uncomfortable. Okay, so that's the same, saying yes to those opportunities. It also looks like saying no. I mean, this is like, how often do we say yes to something that we don't really want to do? We go along and do it, and you're like, oh, why do I say yes to this? Like, you've got to say, and how do I know whether to say yes or no? I have to take action. I have to be open to failing. I have to be open to the what if. And then I will know whether it's something I energetically say yes or no to. One of the things I reckon probably most yoga teachers could do is put up their prices and have clear terms and conditions and boundaries around them. So when your students don't turn up, it's not you losing money. And I'm going to use the example of my children's swimming lessons. They have 10-week term blocks. I pay for their place in their class. I pay up front for 10 weeks as a start and an end date. If they miss their swimming lesson, I lose the money. And I know that as a term and condition. And I also know there's hire of the pool, there's hire of the teacher. And I want these lessons to carry on. Even though if my kids are poorly, fine. But I want them to be there next week. You as a yoga teacher, this is the same as your students. They want you there. If you said, look, I'm going to have to stop classes, or if I put my prices up £1, we can carry on. Like, the vast majority would be like, we're paying this extra £1. asking for support and help. I really do think like yoga teachers were self-employed, were female, pretty blinking lonely, right? And I do know, like, sometimes people say, well, I reached out to other yoga teachers and I didn't get anything back, and they were a bit, oh, like, another yoga teacher in this area. And I'm like, fine, there's an energetic mismatch out there, but there are teachers, there are people that you can find support network with. I'm one of them. Now, talking to people, this is your marketing strategy, right? Talk to people. Hi, I'm a yoga teacher. I don't care where you are. You're butchers, you're in the post office, you're on a Facebook group, you're online, you're on social media, you're on a newsletter, you're on a website. You are like, hi, this is who I am. This is why I help people. These are the people I can help, okay? And you don't have to be super niche. You are the niche in your business, okay? And at the end of that conversation, you say, do you want it? Here's how you book, you sell to me, because this is what is often missing. I see a lot of people showing up on social media, building connection, really lovely posting, but there's not a kind of like a PS, come to class, PS, book here. This is how you book. Being brave, approaching yoga studios, other businesses, like drop me a message, come on my podcast. I had someone did that the other week and I loved it. Like, look for collaboration, because we think, oh no, they're going to say no. Yeah, you are going to be rejected. You're going to be ignored. You're going to, with your flyers, walk into a coffee shop and say, hey, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm teaching up the road. Would you be happy if I put my flyers here? I'm happy to do an energy exchange. I recommend you. And they go, no, thank you. Right? And you're going to in that moment go, oh, that feels rubbish. But for every coffee shop that does that, the one down the road will say yes. You've just got to put your badass yoga boss like pants on, your big girl knickers, and take action, because from an energetic place of I am needed and people need yoga and I can help them. Track your money. So I'm laughing. I'm not very good at this. I've got so much better, and it makes such a difference. Track your money. Know what is making you money. Know what isn't. And it doesn't mean that if something makes you less money, you have to stop it. But if there's something that's you're doing and it's really annoying you, and you're tracking the money, and you can see, actually, I'm not making a lot of money from this, and you say no, you decide to stop. You actually create energetic space for something else, something better to flow. And then when you start thinking about, like, I'm not saying weekly classes are bad. I teach weekly classes. I love my weekly classes, but to really build consistent income from weekly classes, you have to teach a lot. From in-person weekly classes, you have to teach a lot. And I do think, like, for those of you that have been newly qualified first couple of years, I think it's really important that you go out and teach weekly classes. You go out and cut your craft. You go and get employed by a gym. So all you have to do is turn up and teach. But as your badass yoga boss skills grow, you start to think about higher ticket offers, like a retreat. And then everyone goes, oh my God, a retreat, I couldn't organize a retreat. I'm like, do a half a day retreat, do a day retreat. Or you're teaching a couple of classes a week, you've got this lovely group of students, put on a workshop for them. Or you've been teaching for 7 or 8 years and you've got a specialist subject, run a training course. You're ready, but you're like, well, I'm not ready to do training yet. Well, who gives you permission? You're the only one. The yoga industry, I wanted to say this at the beginning, I forgot. The yoga industry is completely unregulated, right? And because of, I'm going to say it's self-regulated, right? But because of that, we're all just making up. Trainers are making it up. There's no standard mentorship. If I go back to my teaching days, I passed as a school teacher. I then had a newly qualified year where I had lots of support. And for 3 years, I had lots of support. And then after those 3 years, I had ongoing support of other colleagues. This is missing in the yoga world. And none of this is easy to do alone. We're little energy beings, and we're not meant to be doing this alone. But this is the energy of knowing you are needed, knowing your tribe is out there. The world is a bloody big place. Yoga is an incredibly diverse subject. However you love to do it is brilliant. Your experience of the practice is completely unique to you. And when you step into this role of badass yoga boss, literally everyone wins. Like, when you put up your prices everyone wins, because the teachers around you will probably put up your prices. When you lead the way of, like, I feel like in the yoga industry, we're all just copying each other. Like, so when we decide what to charge, we go and look around what other yoga teachers are charging. And I actually do recommend that to get a feel. But then so often people come back to me, well, I can't charge this because this person's charging that. And I'm like, listen, they haven't got their money mindset sorted out. How do you know they've got their money mindset sorted out? So it really is a case of getting into this energetic alignment that I am a badass yoga boss. So